at the same time.
Oh man, well, I wouldn't give us that much credit. We're fairly tech savvy in some ways, but very tech illiterate in others. So this is our first stroke at this. So hopefully people will be understanding that we are not professional podcasters. We are not professional recorders or speakers. So with that being said, welcome to the I Love Annuities podcast. My name's Jeremiah Conjure. I'm your host, along with our co-host, Zach Van S., and we are the Annuity Dudes. In today's episode, we'll be diving into the world of annuities, what they are, how they work, and why they could be a key piece of your retirement puzzle. If you're nearing retirement, or maybe you've recently retired and you're wondering how to secure guaranteed income, or maybe grow your assets with a guarantee of principal protection and no downside risk, then this episode is for you. Annuities can sound complicated at first, but our mission and goal with this episode is to break them down in simple, easy to understand terms. And by the end of this episode, you'll have a clear idea of whether an annuity might be right for you in retirement. So we're going to cover a lot today, including what exactly an annuity is, the different types of annuities, the pros and cons of using annuities for guaranteed income, how annuities can fit into a retirement strategy focused on protection and growth, and much more. So stay tuned. So for those that aren't familiar with us, again, I'm Jeremiah Conjure. I am the Chief Executive Officer here at Annuity Association. And my co-host, Zach Van S., is one of our senior annuity advisors. And our mission is simple. We're here to help people make better annuity buying decisions. We're an independent annuity advisory firm specializing in helping people understand annuities, raise their annuity IQ, so that ultimately they can make their own intelligent decision on which annuity type is right for them, and more importantly, which specific one is going to help them and serve them the most in retirement. And the goal of this podcast episode, again, is to help you further understand annuities. It's more of a beginner's guide to what they are and how you can leverage them and the guarantees of those annuities, which is a key word that we're going to be touching on, and how you can use those guarantees to give you clarity, peace of mind, and ultimately confidence that your retirement is sound and that it's going to be there as long as you should live, in terms of, being able to support you and serve your goals and objectives. So let's talk about the first segment today of our episode, and it's basic. It's what is an annuity? We're going to start with the basics. I think the fundamentals of understanding what annuities are and how they work, what they can do for people in retirement, I think is going to be essential to, really assessing whether or not an annuity is something you should be considering at this point in your life as you enter this new phase that we call retirement. So an annuity essentially is a contract between you and the insurance company, and it's going to offer you a guarantee. I think when you think of the word annuity, think of the word guarantee. There are different annuity types. There's actually 4 different types of annuities out there, and they're designed with different intended purposes. But the thing that they all have in common is that all 4 of those types of annuities have some form of guarantee. Now, these guarantees can be things like guaranteed income, and guaranteed income can be structured whether it be a lifetime for you or a lifetime for you and your spouse. So that would be joint life, or it can be used to guarantee an income stream for a period of time, or what they call a certain period. That can be 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. It can be fully customizable. It can be any number of years in between those. And the whole idea there is that you're securing a guaranteed income stream that will pay you an exact amount every single month for that duration of time, whether it be that period certain or a lifetime. And the other types of guarantees in these products, depending on the type of annuity we're looking at, you're going to have guarantees of principal protection. So in a contract where you buy an annuity for growth, you're going to have a guarantee of principal protection. There's not going to be any downside risk. There's not going to be any volatility associated with it like it would be in the general market. if you were just investing in a brokerage account. And it's really going to be designed to help you have more peace of mind that a portion of your retirement nest egg is protected and safe and not exposed to unnecessary risk in retirement. A lot of the people that we speak to, and Zach can chime in here on this since he's working actively with quite a few clients around the country. One thing that we find that's common across the people that we work with and serve is that they all have a preservation mentality. So, Zach, why don't you give us some input on your experience working with some of the clients recently, and how they're kind of looking at things before they have an annuity in their plan, and tell me what you feel is more beneficial to them once they understand an annuity and how it can put some of their concerns at ease.
Yeah, thanks. So I think what's most important is, while we're introducing ourselves, at the same time, we're introducing them to the world of annuities and understanding what the primary goal is, right? So somebody's initial purpose of principal preservation or a lifetime of income, these serve different purposes. And it's just a matter of finding what that primary goal is for them. And it's not a one size fits all, right? So as we're going down that path, it's just discovering and understanding more about them and really plugging in those pieces that fit them the best way.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's really about the appropriate application of the annuity. One of the things that we have learned in our time being a firm specializing in annuities is that oftentimes annuities are sold, they're not bought. And I say that often in our team meetings. I say it often in our client meetings too, because the one of the biggest things that we're trying to change in this industry is righting a lot of the wrongs. And a lot of the wrongs in this industry is that, first and foremost, oftentimes we find out that annuities that are being positioned to the clients we're working with, or maybe they've already purchased these annuities in the past, generally what we find in our discovery is that they weren't the right ones. They may not even have been the right one from an intended purpose perspective. They were just sold to them because of a fancy brochure or a feature or benefit that sounded good. But really, when we break down in the discovery what the ultimate goals were for that client and what their needs were, that annuity didn't line up with serving those needs and being able to meet those needs on an ongoing basis. And so our entire process here at Annuity Association is really getting to understand what's important to people and what their defined objectives are, and helping them formulate a plan essentially. And then showing them how the annuity can fill that role in that plan. Annuity is a financial tool, just like anything else out there. And it has a purpose. It has a purpose to serve for guaranteed income or protected growth. And we find that oftentimes they're not positioned in the right way. And our entire mission is to make sure that we're giving people the tools and the ability to compare and contrast in a very transparent way to ultimately assess the marketplace, know what is available to them, and show them how the appropriate application of that annuity can help them meet their goals. So,
sorry to interrupt you. I think that you hit on a great point there, and that we see a lot of clients who come in and were maybe sold the wrong product. But what you're alluding to now is also the fact of what accessibility we have to the marketplace that maybe others don't.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the other things that we've discovered in, our time being in this industry, is that most advisors or agents out there that are positioning annuities, they're usually only working with a handful of companies and products, whether that be they're just, captive in one company or under one agency that they only offer those handful of products, or maybe they're just trying to use a handful of annuity products in their tool belt as a menu item, if you will. Like if you go to McDonald's and they're trying to sell, you're going to buy something, the menus, if you've noticed, are very limited, and they do that for a simplicity from a simplicity perspective, to keep things simple, not give too many options. And then also it helps them on the training side of things when they're training their staff or their new advisors, or in this case, McDonald's, or new employees. It's easy for someone to learn a handful of items than it is to learn 500 items. And I think that's what makes us unique, is that we're able to bring the entire annuity marketplace to the consumer. And not only that, but help them sift and sort and compare and contrast the hundreds of annuities out there, and do so in a very easy and transparent way. But that's one of the things that we're passionate about, is being able to be transparent. And I think that's the only way to do business, and especially when you're working with somebody and their retirement, their entire life savings, and they're trusting you to help them make this important decision. If you're not able to compare and contrast all of the products and get the most bang for your buck, then you're doing yourself a disservice.